On Radio 1 and 1 Extra, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
So very, very, very pleased to have in the studio Mr. Alix Perez. How you doing, sir?
Very well over here, mate. How are you?
You're good, yeah?
Yeah.
Album finished?
All done, yeah.
Ready to go, pretty much?
Yeah, man. It's coming out on Monday, 20th. So,
it is indeed, mate. I did know, but it's nice to let you guys kind of introduce it yourself, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's all done. Took quite a long time, year and a half, so it feels like a lot of work, and I'm glad it's just finally kind of come together now.
Well, that is because it is a lot of work, mate.
Yeah.
It is certainly a lot of work. So look, let's go in to a track straight away, and we're going to talk loads, but this is one of my favourites from the album. This is Broken Heart with 2 Inch Punch. Sounding absolutely lovely.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like Alix Perez featuring 2 Inch Punch, a track called Broken Heart. So Alex, listening to the album, it's quite a difference to the first album.
Yeah.
As far as a progression of sound, is that a fair comment, a fair thing to say?
Yeah, I'll say that. I think it's more of a snapshot of where I'm at now, you know, as a producer. Basically, I just didn't want to repeat myself, you know, with the first album. I know some people, you know, like sort of hardcore fans would be happy for me to do the same thing over and over again, but I kind of need
We've had this conversation before, haven't we? Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I just want to challenge myself and move on and kind of develop as an artist, and that's basically what the album is. It touches base with, like, you know, the sort of my older sound, which I've kept in. I didn't want to remove myself too much, but definitely, like, the majority of it is where I'm at now, and that's, you know, I just kind of wrote. It was kind of a natural process. I just wrote the music that I felt I needed to, you know.
But you say it's a natural process. Was it a conscious decision before you started writing to say, okay, well, look, because, you know, I do this. You obviously, there's the Art 101 thing as well that's been going on as well.
Yeah.
So this sounds to me, and it's what a lot of people are saying, is that this kind of, you've included elements of that in this concept, and that it's kind of sounds to me it's more of a rounded album. As far as with 1984, you had drum and bass tracks, and you had a couple of other little down tempo ones or whatever. but it was more of a straight up drum and bass album with some other elements sort of in there.
Yeah.
But with Chroma Chords, it sounds like everything kind of really links and gels together. But that's kind of the vibe that I've got from people, and kind of what I think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I just sort of took a sound palette and just sort of wrote the album around it, although I think it is quite versatile and, you know, diverse. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's quite natural, but I just wanted to, I mean, aside from one track on the album, it's still all at 85 BPM.
Yeah.
So let's say half of, you know, the sort of, you know, actual 170 that is drum and bass.
It's essentially, it's all based around the same tempo. It's just different vibes, different beat patterns. You know, essentially you're keeping it that way, which is, I think, what people don't. I don't know if people always notice that. You know, people sometimes lose track of it. Oh, actually, you know, this doesn't sound like straight up drum and bass, but it is working within the 170 template.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where some people have heard the album said they weren't even sure whether it was drum and bass, if it's 140 or it's, you know. So that was kind of my point, and just like taking that BPM and seeing what I can do with it, and go, you know, as far as what I did with it, and just like be really experimental.
Yeah.
And just try different things, because I still think under that BPM there's so much that can be done, and
there's a lot that can be explored, man. There is a lot that can be explored. Well, look, Till, let's go back. I want to go back right to the beginning, because we haven't had you on the show before, and I think people want to know, you know, how did you get into the whole music thing? Like, what started you off? What was your kind of entry into music?
I mean, I mentioned this like a few times. My mum used to DJ. I mean, not professionally, it was more like a hobby. And when we first moved to the UK here, when I was like 14, that's kind of how I came across the whole sort of vinyl and jungle thing, you know.
That's a pretty good intro if your mum's a DJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I never really paid attention until to a certain point. It was just like being curious, and just I was like, oh, what's this, you know, and just picked up some vinyl and started listening to it, and that, it just started from there, and then started putting records together, like simple as that, which is what DJing is, right?
Yeah, cool.
And then it just naturally progressed from there. I think I really caught a bug with it. You know, since I was a kid, I did like all different sports and never really found something that really caught me and like really wanted to go into, you know. And that was it, no turning back kind of thing.
Yeah, you got the bug basically. So I tell you what, let's play a track, because obviously you brought some stuff to play. Want to play something that you would say was an early influence for you musically? Tell us what we're going to play.
Metropolis by Adam F. And that's actually probably the first track I picked out of my mum's collection, I remember.
Your mum had Metropolis on vinyl?
I still have the copy.
That is deep. I can't really explain it any other way.
And I remember seeing it and seeing the Heads logo. I was like, you know, I was just so recognisable. It's like I almost knew it, but I didn't. And then, I just picked it out and played it, and I was like, what is this? I'd never heard anything like it.
Let's go into it right now. Adam F. Metropolis. is a cliche of me to say this, but it is one of the most timeless tunes ever, basically.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. It's like every element of it, every noise and sound that you hear that comes in, you're like, it just blows you away, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I still always find something I haven't heard in that tune.
Yeah.
Just like a little sound effect, or like I've heard, listened to it a million times or whatever, but yeah, there's just so much going on. And at that time they didn't have like Logic, or it's just all like 16-second sampling, and the fact that they made that at that time was just amazing. So, yeah, it's just still blows me away basically, and it still sounds good. Like you can play it out and it stands up to like other music now.
That's actually one tune I'd say that I'm all for a little 2012 2013 update, but that's one tune that I'd say I hope no one does it with that one.
I'd be upset if that
be hurt. So essentially we've got to the point so far where your mum basically is into drum and bass and has Adam F Metropolis. How does it go from there? That you're obviously like I say, you're going to get the bug from there. As far as music's concerned, how do you take being into that music, getting into that music via your mum, and then actually getting into the studio and starting think I'm going to make my own beats?
Yeah.
So what's the process from there? What happened from there?
I think again it's like natural progression kind of thing. I think if you sort of DJ, and then the natural step is to like start making your own music. But it's just like I was like, I want to try and make that, basically. That was it. I was just like, how do they do this? How do you put these beats together? How do you source the samples? All that stuff. So I was just interested in it, and yeah, I got like a really basic setup and just started messing around. Someone like a friend of mine showed me, just some really basic stuff, and then I took that and just developed on it, and that was it really. I mean, I don't know, God knows how many days I spent in the studio by now, but it's just a lot of work, a lot of dedication, I think.
If it's anything like me, I'd just say too much. To be honest, an unhealthy amount of hours spent in a room on your own.
Really nice studio time going on.
Yeah. I've been trying to get rid of mine the last week. So okay, well that's kind of, I suppose it happens with a lot of people, it's kind of progressing and saying, hey, I want to actually get involved, I want to make my own music like this. Yeah. So what was actually the first tune that you released?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I thought about this the other day. I need to look on my discography. It was something really old, obviously, but I actually can't think right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you know what? I'll come back to that in another time. Because I think people would be interested to know. Yeah. But what I did want to do was kind of play one of your early tracks. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping you're going to say, yeah, I've got one right here.
Solitary.
Yes, that's early-ish. That's early-ish. Solitary Native's a good one to play. Should we go on that? Solitary Native? Okay, we're going to do that now, because this was what made people aware of you. Yeah. It was a track with Sabre, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
It's called Solitary Native, and we're going to play it right now. And I would just advise people to sit back, listen, and enjoy. Sounds of Alix Perez and Sabre. Track is called Solitary Native, released, must be 6-7 years ago on SG.
Yeah, I think it's 2006 or 7.
So at least 6 years ago, I was definitely saying, man. So yeah, I mean, how would you say your production has progressed since making that tune?
Well, I can really hear it now that I listen, you know.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, personally, because obviously I know the track so well. I just think it's just, you know, just sonically I've evolved a lot.
Yeah.
And it's also to do with, I think, you know, all the doors like Logic and everything. And I think I've sort of collected a lot of analog gear over the years now, and I've just got a higher setup, and just naturally, you know, working pretty much every day in the studio, you just gain skills.
So when you first started making music, you were you just within Logic or Cubase or something, just literally?
Well, I pretty much had a PC, laptop and Reason, and that was it, and, a pair of headphones.
But I think it's fair to say that probably 6-7 years ago, making tunes, the emphasis was kind of less on the production.
Exactly.
Whereas now, every single element to every tune that someone makes, you've just got to have every part of that mix and every sound. The production's got to be so tight.
Well, that's it. I think in terms of labels and A&Rs, now they not only listen to, you know, the quality of the piece of music, but like you said, it's got to be mixed down. And I think, especially in drum and bass, very particular. It's got to sound a certain way, which is a bit of a shame, because I think it kind of, you know, some people sort of forget about the, you know, actual music writing part and concentrate too much on sort of the mix down asset of it.
I'd agree. I think you're probably safe to say we get a little lull sometimes in drum and bass, where from my point of view, I'll be listening to tracks and I'll be like, there's not much actual music out there at a current time. They'll go through little periods. We'll soon get stuff back where there's great music out there, but you'll go through periods where it's like, actually, this isn't, like, there's not loads of actual music that's inspiring me. And then people sort of, because people are basically making tunes and obviously are like spending too much time thinking about their mix and trying to get this you know, like, but actually I think people do that, and then it comes back again and the music comes back. And I think very much so now. I've been harping on the show for about the past, you know, 2 months. Rachel probably hears me say it every single week about, I love drum and bass, so much good music out there. But there is, you know, you go through those stages, and it definitely works that way with drum and bass. So you use a fair bit of outboard now then?
Yeah, I mean, mainly synths. I've got like some, you know, older synths, more vintage, that aren't, you know, about anymore. So you kind of have to find that stuff on eBay or whatever, you know. So that takes a lot of searching. But yeah, I've got just like a good 6 or 7 synths, and, you know, just a UAD sound card, just really nice. I've limited it now to what I really need, because I went a bit overboard and caught the whole like analog bug, and I was like, I've just got to buy this.
Spending all your DJ wages basically.
So now, like, I just know what I have and what's essential for me and what works for me. So
cool. We've roped you into playing Frictionary for us today, haven't we?
Yeah.
So are you currently, I can't quite see at the moment, you're being a bit sheepish about it, aren't you? But we've got you playing Frictionary.
Yeah, I know the tune, so...
You've got the tune in your mind?
Yeah,
okay, well, that's a start. That's a start. No pressure, but something goes up on, you know, the Radio 1 dance page.
I did A-level art, so I might come up with something decent.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So you're going to work on that anyway while we talk and while we listen to music, basically. Yeah. So I think we should play a track from the album. What would you like to play?
I'd like to play Playing Games with D.Ablo, just because I think it's like more reminiscent to the first album.
Yeah,
I think one of those tracks that's like definitely got that vibe.
Definitely.
So I think we'll play that one.
Cool. Well, let's do that right now. This is Alix Perez featuring D.Ablo, Playing Games.
for defeat. We can only hope one day that we meet. I once again give you everything you need.
Sounds like Alix Perez featuring D.Ablo playing games right here on BBC Radio 1 and 1 Extra. You're listening to me, Friction, and we have Alix Perez in the studio, and we are talking about music, and we're talking about his new album. And you said with that track that we wanted to play that because it's quite reminiscent of sort of what that's more of a typical Alix Perez track, I would say.
Yeah.
What at the moment would you say is influencing you now? Because like I say, with the whole kind of sound of this album, you've progressed the sound. It's more of a connected, rounded sound, collection of music, I would say. What is kind of inspiring you, man? What do you listen to and think, I love that?
Tons of music, but I mean, there's a few people like recently. Well, the reason why I got 2 Inch Punch involved on the album is one guy that I first heard his music and I was like, wow, just the way he treated sounds, just everything about it, like there was something really original about it. So he's one guy that I was like, I really rate this guy, and he kind of knew about my music as well. So we got involved in the track, and there was basically him and a guy called J. Paul, who's only released like a couple tracks on XL. And same thing again, it's just his approach to music writing, the way he treats sounds again, and everything about it. It's very rich and musical, yet it's like electronic, and it's got a touch of like hip hop, and like there's just a nice mix. It kind of brings everything that
all the elements that you like personally are brought together in one style, basically. Yeah. And so drum and bass wise, who's who are you playing? Who's in your sets?
Right now I'm playing quite a lot of Unit, which is. He's not really technically coming from drum and bass, but he's doing a lot of 85 stuff. Yeah. Playing quite a lot of new Stray stuff, the Sabre Ivy Lab thing, obviously Calibre, just all sorts really, like a bit of everything.
Definitely things have got more musical again, haven't they?
Which is good because it got very nerdy and very technical for a while, I think. And
all the girls run away from our gigs.
Basically.
That's what happens, isn't it?
A lot of raging dudes at the front.
Yeah, raging dudes with their shirts off. Nice one, buddy. It's like
killing it.
Yeah. So look, let's play a track. Let's do something. What do you want to play?
So I think we'll play J. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one track that I heard in the last year that I was like, okay, this is serious.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's do that.
Since you shut my eyes to see it, I never knew where I was going. I went below what I was knowing. I know I've been all alone.
Sounds of J. Paul right here on BBC Radio 1 and 1 Extra BTSTU. I'm here with Alix Perez and we are just playing music and basically having a chat while Alex draws his Frictionary for the week. How are you getting on, mate? We need to see. Can I have a little peek at what's going on or not?
Yeah, there's a little something there.
Okay. Looks amazing. Okay, so basically we just played a track, kind of an influence outside of drum and bass. Mm-hmm. Obviously you've been heavily influenced by a lot of drum and bass producers and tracks. I would quite like to play something not necessarily brand new, but just a drum and bass track that's inspired you.
Okay, well, Calibre was obviously a massive influence on my music when I was when I was getting into it. Although, obviously, like I said, I got into the earlier stuff, but yeah, so I'd like to play one of his tracks because he just mastered that whole soulful thing and making like a vibe out of absolutely nothing sometimes. Like,
he's the grandmaster, basically.
Yeah, like just a loop that could go on forever and you can still enjoy it. It's just I mean, he made some of my favourite drum and bass for sure. So I was gonna play track with Zero T and Beta 2, which is called Diamonds and Pearls,
which was on CIA, I do believe.
Yeah. Which is like kind of, I think, a forgotten one,
Yeah.
And I only rediscovered it the other day.
Yeah.
So
I like finding tracks like that.
Yeah. I'll keep going back, like sort of refreshing the CD wallet for the gigs and just like going back to old stuff and just finding, and that one's like killer. I just completely
if it's good with those tracks, you find a little hidden gem like from back in the day and you draw it back in the set. It's a good one when you notice about 5 other DJs to start playing it as well.
Exactly that.
So it's a good one when doing it.
I think I posted on Twitter and then people was like, you got a wav of that then.
Oh, really? So not even, you got to be subtle about it at least, you know what I mean?
So now I'm just like, not even,
you know what the answer is to that though, don't you? Yeah, I've got a really nice 120-bit version here for you. You know what I mean? That's what you have to do. But yeah, this is a great track. So I think we'll go into this now. This is Calibre and Zero T, Diamonds and Pearls. Sounds of Calibre and Zero T, Diamonds and Pearls, a track that came out, I reckon, about 7 years ago on CIA. Am I correct in that? Is that
I think
accurate?
it's about 10 years old.
Oh, I'm getting old. Oh dear. Quite concerning. Great track. Great track. And Calibre, obviously, with his S.P.Y LP kind of doing the rounds at the moment. He's still going, still rolling them out.
Yeah, it's brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, that one.
Yeah, some great tunes on there. So I can see you're still kind of doodling away. Can we have a clue? Because obviously there's people listening. I need to sort of give them like a running commentary to try and prime them.
So the track that it relates to is something edible, so I'm not going to give too much away.
Okay.
So yeah, it's something you can consume. Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. There's like a little kind of, little jump start for you guys that are basically going to get the look on the R1 dance page at the end of the show and try and guess Alix's Frictionary. So look, let's get back to music because, we've got time is ticking by. And I just did want to talk again about the album because obviously, bring it back to 2013 and where we're at now. How long would you say this album's taken to write?
I think the writing process is probably about a year and a half, maybe. Yeah, from the very start, from scratch, from nothing, basically, from just not even a track or an idea. Just like that's when I started thinking about it and kind of deciding which way I was going with it.
Yeah, and you've written 2 albums now.
Yeah.
So that section, you've got the sort of sections of writing. What is the hardest, most pressure kind of you're under? What period of writing the album, which is the hardest bit, basically?
I think there's 2 stages. It's like getting to the stage where you actually have a body of work rather than just a few random tracks, and having a body of work that's coherent that you can finish into an album. And then it might sound funny, but I think the hardest part is track listing it and sort of working out the sort of running order.
Of course,
especially for for the CDs. I found that really tough. Obviously, all the tracks are kind of written in mind.
Yeah.
For to be sort of a journey. But
well, you want the moods to complement each other. So you've had one emotion and then the next emotion. It's like it could be a different one, but you still want it to sort of work and
kind of
follow.
Ups and downs, So it's like goes from happy and then you can turn and it's just sort of like turning it into a journey, basically.
And there definitely is a big range of emotions on the LP. You go through it and listen to it. There's kind of. You've got the hardcore kind of agginess of Rico in Warlord, exactly. To the kind of like feel good, really want the sun to be out, sitting outside listening to playing games.
Yeah.
Which is basically you, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, I always consider myself quite sort of diverse when it comes to music.
Well, I think you've got more diverse. Like I say, if you listen to the first album or you listen to your early tracks, more importantly, there was more of a sort of soulful tinge, but I think it's fair to say that as you progressed your kind of sonic ability as a producer, gone into that militant realm as well. That's the kind of position where having that extra kind of studio technique can help you to make other styles of music.
Definitely.
Because that wasn't a style that you were doing early on.
No, but I think, like we mentioned the Art 101 thing, and I've always made like hip-hop beats because I was just always into hip-hop as well. Course. And I just always, all along, all this time while I was writing drum and bass, I just always did other music, I think I need to do that.
It feels like you've put it all into one now.
And that's it, and I'm just, with this project, it's like bringing all that together, but for it to make sense as well.
Yeah, of course, which is important.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've got time to play one more track from the album. I mean, we've played a few on the show already. We've played Warlord on the show.
Yeah.
Played Playing Games earlier. That's also been in the show a few times. What do you reckon? What should we go for?
I think I'd like to play the title track.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, Chroma Chords, yeah.
So let's go into that right now. So listen, before we roll that out, thank you very much for coming on. It's so nice to have a really in-depth interview. I love doing the shows that can actually talk and have a real chat about music with people. So big ups for that.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, all good, mate. And I'm looking forward to sort of seeing what you come up with your Frictionary.
All right.
So let's go into this right now before we say goodbye to Alix Perez. This is Chroma Chords. So big shout to Alix Perez for coming in. That was great to have a chat and just go through influences and music and just talking about music. There's nothing really better for me. So I will say big up to you, sir. Thank you for coming in, and I look forward to the next LP.